I'll call a meeting to order in the Natrona County Commission, August 18th. Roll call, please. Whoops, I'm rushing you. Sorry about that.
Commissioner Millman?
Here.
Commissioner
Paul.
Collier?
Here.
Commissioner Henry?
Here.
Here.
Okay, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Commissioner Coffman?
Here.
Allegiance to the flag of
Here.
the United States of America
Tertullian?
and to the republic for which it stands,
Henry?
Here.
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
He will be here. Okay, we have a consent
Please join me in
agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, we have some public hearings. And all of these public hearings will be held in accordance with Wyoming State Statute, rules of Natrona County Commission, and other applicable laws. I would ask those individuals who wish to address the commission to approach the lectern and state your full name and address for the record. Okay, first we have VC 20-3. Is there a report?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, VC 20-3, it's a variance to the setbacks in the mobile home district and application by Jerry and Sherry Cook. Location zoning, the lease is for Lot 76 of the Alcova Trailer Park. The park is northwest of the Alcova Marina. The park is zoned mobile home, north and south is RAM, east is PUD, west is urban residential. So as we head out to Alcova Lake, we go down Lakeshore Drive, and just before Alcova Marina, on the east side of the road, we have the trailer park that's zoned mobile home. Again, here's our zoning. We have the mobile home. The county is under contract with the Bureau of Reclamation for the management, development, operation, and maintenance at Alcova Reservoir. The lots in the park are leased to individuals for use by Natrona County Parks Department. The setbacks from property lines for the park are as follows: 25 feet from all public roads, so that would be Lakeshore Road, the main road you drive out to. You'd have to be 25 feet off of that road. 8 feet from all private roads, so that would be the roads internal to the trailer park. 15 feet between mobile homes and 5 feet from any property lines. So when we look at our subject lot here, the yellow line right there is really the usable area on this particular lot. You can see the old trailer there that had become dilapidated and had to be removed. And when you carve out all the setbacks, and especially it's that 25-foot setback on Lakeshore, it really creates a hardship for the applicant. And again, that's the geist behind a variance, is literal interpretation of the rules creates a hardship, and the only way that hardship can be alleviated is through a variance. In fact, that area is so small that you'll see in subsequent slides here, the applicant cannot purchase a park mobile home that would fit into that size. They physically do not make one small enough to fit in there. So what they are proposing is they are able to buy a 15-foot wide by 32-foot model, which would cause this triangular shape that is outside of the setback line by approximately 4.7 feet into that Lakeshore Drive setback. They would meet all the other setbacks, but the variance before us is just that 4.7 feet along Lakeshore Drive. This is looking at a lot after the trailer was moved last summer. But this is the lot. It's, again, just a very small lot that's out there. And again, criteria for variance, we have to show showings concerning all the following, and I'll refer you to your packets for these individuals. Findings of fact. Some key points I'm going to kind of flip through here and bring to your attention. There are approximately 7 lots out of the 160 that do not meet setbacks with a newer mobile home. And we have granted variances in the past for other lot owners, particularly, again, along Lakeshore Drive. It's that 25-foot setback that really puts them in a bind. Again, this is a variance setback, not for any other use that would be granted. The variance would allow the applicant to use and enjoy their lot in a way other current landowners do use it, or leasees in this case. Granting the variance is necessary to alleviate the proven hardship. Without the variance to the setbacks, the subject lot would not be usable. Again, it's only a 4 feet 7 inches closer to the property line. This home would still be over 20 feet away from the property line. Kind of going quick because there's really not a lot of opposition here. Public comment to date, Natrona County Development has received no comments regarding this agenda item. The Natrona County Parks Department does not have any concerns with this request. We went over that with Mr. Hagler, and at their August 11th, 2020 meeting, the Planning Commission recommended approval of this item, incorporating findings of fact by the Board of County Commissioners. With that, I'd answer any questions the Commission may have.
Any questions for staff?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if this,
Commissioner Bertolio.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if this is for Jason or Eric. Is there anything in our agreement with the Bureau of Rec that once a trailer is removed, does the lot still stay with the applicant? Or does it have to go back in the pool?
So Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Bertolio, so really the issues of ownership of the trailers and the lot lease are really two separate issues. And so I don't know the specific history of this lot, whether or not the new owners, that the applicants here, if they got the lot through the lottery, or if they had, purchased it previous and this is a continuation. But really, they're two separate issues.
Thank you.
Other question? I've got one. The deck area then would not be any larger than it is in that picture then, if they come back in for a deck, or is that part of the variant, or part of the deal? Is he?
He's able to construct the deck within the dashed line there, which is within the buildable area. So the only variance we're granting right now is just that triangular shape on the corner of the trailer. The deck would be within the allowable area.
And he'll know that in writing in this deal? Okay. Okay. Other questions? Okay, thank you. I'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Is there any questions or a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to approve VC 20-3 for the variance request to reduce the eastern setback, also to include the finding of fact from staff.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye of VC 20-3, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Order.
Okay, next we have CUP 20-6. And we're getting it loaded up. We went so fast that.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, CUP 20-6 is a conditional use permit and application by Jeff Mock and Nathan on behalf of YDOT WildLink. The proposed tower would be located at approximately 1 mile south of Highway 220 and east of Pathfinder Road. The subject parcel and all surrounding parcels are zoned RAM, Ranching, Agricultural, Mining. The proposal, YDOT WildLink, has applied for CUP to construct a 100-foot communication tower with another 5 feet of apparatuses on top of that. The tower would be used to provide and expand WildLink's very high frequency coverage in and around the area. WildLink is a statewide land mobile radio network utilized by federal, state, and local agencies for public safety and emergency response. First responders, law enforcement, fire, and public service agencies all rely on WildLink for communications. During planning and zoning, we had emergency personnel come up and speak in behalf of this proposal, and they echoed everybody from the game and fish, the sheriffs, fire, any emergency services would be using WildLink. This proposed tower is a little hard to see on this map here, but it's the ridge between Alcova Reservoir and Pathfinder Road. There's other cell towers that are located along that ridge, and this would be an additional tower along that ridge. It's accessed off of Pathfinder Road. Again, subject zoning is all RAM. Conditional use permit criteria, we have to have showings concerning all of it, and I'll refer you to your packet for specific details. Staff's proposed finding of fact, granting the conditional use permit will not contribute to an overburden of county services. County services and infrastructure will not be necessary for this conditional use permit. This tower would provide coverage and reach for local law enforcement and emergency services. There will be no impact to traffic, parking, population density. These towers are not manned. Routine maintenance for the tower and antennas will be limited. The subject parcel consists of approximately 15,000 acres. The addition of this communication tower will not impair the use of adjacent property. This tower will be located in an area consistent with communication towers. The proposed tower and building are designed and built intended for the purpose of public safety communications and will be constructed in accordance with all applicable standards as well as all building and plumbing codes, electrical codes that Natrona County has in place. Key communication tower regulations. Artificially lit towers are not required until the towers reach to 200 feet. So we're 105 feet, it's not going to be required to be lit. Setbacks, it meets our 110% setback requirement from any roadway or property line. Documentation demonstrating need, they have provided us with documentation showing that this WildLink tower is needed out there at that location. Public comment to date, Natrona County as Development Department has received no comments on this proposal. We sent out notices to 13 neighbors within 1 mile. At their August 11th, 2020 meeting, the Planning Commission recommended approval of this item, incorporating findings of fact by the Board of County Commissioners. With that, I'd answer any questions the Commission may have.
Any question? I've got one for you, Eric. We were talking about a tower out there several years ago to use for our radios in the Sheriff's Department. Did we ever get that done?
That one doesn't ring a bell with me.
Okay, so this would be it. Go ahead, Mr. Chadwick.
If I may
Commissioner
weigh in on
Chadwick.
that. Yeah, we actually put $1 million in our 1 cent for
But
that
never
tower.
did
And
get
it was this
built.
tower.
It's this tower.
And when we realized we could lease that space for about 25 years for that amount of money, and that the state was taking this tact, we backed off.
Okay, so we
and-
never did get that done, yeah.
And did not build that tower.
I couldn't remember, but,
At that time, the state was pushing for the counties to build these towers.
yeah.
And the counties pushed back very hard, and here we are.
Yeah, okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. I'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone, yep, come on up.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, my name is Nathan Smolinski, and I'm with Wyoming Department of Transportation. I can maybe shed a little bit of light on the comment you had in regards to the tower. So that is correct. This tower is actually being federally funded for the construction of it, so the state's actually handling out of some of the wide-out funds. However, we've talked with the county, and we're offering up a co-locate opportunity for the county's infrastructure to be moved into this location as well. Currently, the county, their equipment is hanging on a cellular tower right now, with their equipment housed outside in cabinets. It's not very conducive for emergency equipment. So when we actually get done with this construction, if approved, we'll be able to then offer a secure environment for all emergency responder equipment in one area.
Okay,
So, and with that, I'll be happy to take any questions. Director summed up everything pretty clear, so.
Okay, great. Any questions?
Did you have to drive all the way up here for just this 2 minutes?
I have to go to Park County tomorrow.
You're going to be busy because I understand there's a lot of towers.
We've got 16 on the docket right now that we're working through.
You have quite a few over there in those valleys in, like Afton and back in there.
We have several that are there right now. Currently, we're expanding coverage in some other communities. So actually, Evanston, we're actually going to have one lit up in Jackson pretty soon as well.
Good,
We've got quite a few. So it's been a busy summer, that's for sure.
okay,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
a quick comment. Mr. Smolinski has really taken over and has led the charge on the Wild Link and has done an exceptional job in
Great.
the last year. And we've made huge leaps and bounds in getting stuff done. So we all need to congratulate him across the state for the effort he's put in.
Thank you.
I've got another one coverage area for you out there between Fremont County and Natrona County that's got a tower there you could just put it on top of.
Which one's this?
It's an old Western Communications tower. Got power and everything to it on Cedar Ridge.
We'll take a look at it.
I'll give you the coordinates.
Please do.
Are you taking off right now?
I'll be here for a little while, but
Okay, I'll get a card from you and I'll send
Fantastic.
it to you. Okay, any other comments? Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? I'll close the public hearing. Is there any questions or motions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner Mills.
I guess I'll take this one. But I'm not going to be as quick about it.
Make it as wordy as you can.
No. Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to approve this CUP 20-6 with incorporation reference find fact by staff.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I would second Commissioner Milne's motion.
okay, that's great.
Yeah.
You weren't so fast on the second.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I have a question.
Would you
for-
like to amend it somehow?
No, I have
Oh,
a
okay.
question. I have a question for Mr. Nelson.
Okay,
Can I vote on this? Being this is part of public safety communication?
oh, yeah,
Mr. Chairman, I don't think that would technically create a conflict,
Okay.
Commissioner Bertolio.
All right, thank you.
but you mentioned it and you asked and that it's done, yeah, that's good. Right on. Any other debate, question? All those in favor of passing CUP 20-6, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, next we have a zoning change, 20-1. Is there a report?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, ZC 20-1, it's a request for a zone change, an application by Stephanie and William Kundal on behalf of various owners. This is a change of the zoning district classification from UMR to Rural Residential 1 for 16 lots in the Schlager, DuBose, and Kuhn subdivisions. This is off a 10-mile road, so if we head west of town, we go past the airport, and instead of turning right on 33-mile road, we make a left onto 10-mile. And we're going to go down that, mile and a quarter or so, and then we're going to make another right. And you can see in the blue there is the highlighted lots that we're talking about this evening. There are 12 owners, and that is comprised of 16 different lots as part of this zone change. The subdivisions out here date back a ways. The Schlager subdivision was approved in 1972 with a mix of agricultural and industrial zoning. In '83, the subdivision was rezoned to rural mixed residential, and in 2000, rural mixed became urban mixed residential. The Kuhn and DuBose subdivisions were part of the original Schlager subdivision. According to the landowners in this area, residents have always had and kept agricultural and 4-H animals. Due to a recent request for zoning, the residents were informed that animals 4-H are not a permitted use in UMR. It's a conditional use, though. So this stemmed from a property owner selling a property in there, and they had a large equine facility. They had horses, they had a roping arena, and come to find out, you weren't allowed to have animals unless you have a conditional use permit. The development department hasn't had complaints out there. Folks have had, happily had animals without any issue whatsoever. And so this came to light. And the landowners came forward, worked with our department, and the solution was to propose rural residential 1 zoning. All the lot sizes meet that criteria, and this would then allow the property owners in that area to have animals without getting a conditional use permit. You can see here before us tonight is within that purple area. We do now have an application for most of that area up above there. We've got one property owner that has not submitted on it yet, but we're going to work with that property owner and see if they're at all interested. But tonight, we're within this purple zone there. This is a photograph looking down south down Schlager Road. Very typical Natrona County rural environment. This is looking west down Holland Road, north down Schlager. And Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners shall require that the applicant provides evidence to the proposed zone change that will meet at least one of the criteria. So there is 6 different criteria. The applicant is proposing this under number 3. The land may have been rezoned to urban mixed residential as a mistake. All the properties in the Schlager subdivision and subsequent lot splits have historically been used and are currently being used for rural residential properties, including the housing and raising of livestock and horses. Copies of appraisals noting zoning as urban ag and rural mixed have been provided to the office. The property owners would like to legally enjoy the use of their lands. Staff's finding, the 2016 development plan in this area is to maintain agricultural lands and county roads. This zone change will increase the minimum lot size for this area and supported by the development plan with low-density residential development. The minimum district size is 15 acres in rural residential, and the applicant requesting is above the minimum acreage, so this would not be considered a spot zone. So it just worked out perfect in this instance where we were able to look at a different zoning. All the lots meet the minimum lot size. There's no red flags. It would give them more uses within that zoning district. Public comment, as of tonight's meeting, 2 verbal comments in favor and 1 written in favor have been received. The Development Department has notified 44 property owners within 1 mile radius. Proposed motion at their August 11th, 2020 meeting, the Planning Commission recommended approval of this item, incorporating findings of fact by the Board of County Commissioners. With that, I'd answer any questions the Commission may have.
Okay, is there any questions for staff? Thank you. Okay, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Yeah, come on up and give your full name and address, please.
Mark Weston, 2800 Schlager Road. After we had the meeting on the 11th with the planning and zoning, I thought the staff did a wonderful job in explaining to the fact that this is a rural area. We raise horses and mules. Don't hold the mules against me. But if we could embark upon you guys to see fit to change that zoning, that would help us immensely. Appreciate it.
Okay. Any questions? Nope, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? I'll close the public hearing. Any questions or a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd move to approve ZC 20-1 along with the findings of facts.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to pass ZC 20-1. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we have one more Mr. County Attorney, is that right? A resolution, not a public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, no, the addition was to the consent agenda, so. that
Okay, so it's
Had been
taken care of.
approved, so there's, yeah, nothing further.
All right. We're down to public comment. Is there anyone wishing to speak to the commission tonight? We're going to be fast. Okay, thank you. Anyone wishing to speak to the commission? All right. County commissioners. Commissioner Kaufman.
No comments tonight, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Chadwick.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Commissioner Milne.
Actually, I do.
All right.
Yeah. And this goes out to all the candidates out there that are going to get their results tonight. Yeah. Good luck to y'all. And thank you for stepping up. The community really does appreciate it.
Commissioner Bertolio.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Chairman. I was gonna talk about Peaches the chicken, but then
Okay, Commissioner
So
Kaufman.
today actually is the 100th-year anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment. So 100 years ago today, Tennessee was the last state to come in and give American women the right to vote. So it's a big day for obviously all voters, certainly women that 100 years ago today we were granted the right to vote. So anyways, I just think it's worth a nod, and congratulations and kudos to all who went before us to make something like that happen. So thank you, Mr.
Great.
Chairman.
And wasn't Wyoming the first one? Yeah, okay. Well, I helped, because I'm not running this year, I helped in the polls out at the industrial building. And I just wanted you guys to know, the good news is we had a lot of comments about the new addition to the kitchen out there and that whole building. You remember we had to kind of heartburn about the entrance and how much it was going to cost? It's really nice, guys. It is really nice. And this brings on another comment.
Yes,
but
it does.
It's just a wonderful addition. And we had a lot of comments about it. So people were really, really glad to see it. And I made sure everybody knew that it was a 1 cent project.
Very good.
So, and the other thing is that, and I don't know whether you guys know it, but we're going to have a plaque out there on the wall that'll have all of the commissioners' names that were involved in that this year and last year. And then we'll have the name of the fair board and the director on it. And it'll be a nice plaque, similar to what's over in the Townsend and across the street in the Hall of Justice. So, but it was good. The other part of news that I had is the voter turnout is really light, real light, and I don't know how that's going to shake out, but when I left at 5 o'clock, we had 1,700 is all in the industrial building, which is disappointing, but we had a lot of absentee ballots, so that's good. But anyway, that's all I had. So Commissioner Chadwick.
Just a footnote onto the industrial building. They discussed last night making that new facility, the kitchen and the dining area, available for bid. So just like the concessions underneath the grandstand stands are bid upon, they're going to make that kitchen available also for high end. So you can go in, have a nice place to have a nice steak and
Oh.
sit down, dinner. So they're going to put that out for bid for next year's fair.
Okay, then a question about that. Then if somebody wanted to rent that facility, would they have access to use that too?
During fair?
Or anytime?
Well, absolutely. This is only during fair.
Oh, just during?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay,
Because they always lease out all those
right.
concession stands underneath the grandstands. They're going to do the same thing with that.
That's good. Well,
Put
we
it-
get some
Put it
use
to
out
good
of it.
use, yes.
Yeah, good.
Well, I've got something to talk about, but it's nothing part of me.
Well, we can keep going as long as you guys want to go. Was that everything?
That's it.
Okay, Commissioner Bertolio.
Well, if you want to do it now, that's fine. The forwarded the email regarding what the slip board
Oh, yeah,
is
right.
talking about doing that allocation. And just wondered if anybody had any comments. My biggest one, it doesn't matter if it's 75 million or $75. If it's still going to come under the guidelines that we're being forced, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
The only thing it would do would guarantee us that through December 30th, we'd have availability of funds. So,
Mr. Chairman, if I
Yes.
might. So we did, myself, Matt Kowalski, and Stacy Hill took a look at that, and I think they have some additional comments that we can certainly circle back to you all on. The one thing that just jumped out at me is under the proposed modeling that they had, Converse County got like 3 or 4 times what we would be allotted. And I have to imagine that, so a big part of that factor was sales tax revenue decline. And interestingly, so Converse County and the other very heavily oil and gas dependent counties saw the biggest decline, which probably wasn't directly related to COVID. And so then, but we're going to get the biggest share of the CARES Act funding allotment under that model. Now, the way I looked at it is almost like an industrial siting council deal, that you would be capped at that number that was allocated for your county, but you still had to come and prove the expenses. So in talking with emergency management, I think we're at like 250,000, and so it made me a moot point, but if there was any thought that we could ever get anywhere close to those caps, I would think a discussion about using sales tax revenue as such a heavy weight might be appropriate.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
So you think it's inappropriate to use it then?
Well,
I was going to do a response back to him tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think it's a true indicator of the COVID impact, because I think, what we're seeing is a crash in the oil market, which, could be related to COVID somewhat, but I think also there was some other global issues at the time. And so, when you have no rigs drilling in the state, Converse County had been so high with sales tax because of the oil and gas activity. When that cratered, they had a huge precipitous drop, and I think that's probably disproportionately granting them some of that allocation that probably should go to some of the bigger counties.
So the comment back should be probably too much weight given to that.
That would be my initial reaction,
Okay,
yeah.
that's fine. Thank you.
The one thing that I might ask you guys about that, those wind towers that just went down there at 2 million a pop or something like that, they're getting sales tax off of them, right? And that, so I don't know how that factors in, but I whatever there is down there for wind towers, I think they got them where they delivered them, and so Converse County got that. And-
Yeah, that's, Mr. Chairman, that's right. They would get that sales tax revenue. I'm just not sure when they would actually realize that revenue. So, it's an 18-month build-out, so.
So, Mr. Chairman, along those lines, Jeremiah, WCCA sent out the first bills that are being filed, and one of them actually addresses sales and use taxes that exceed $1 million that would allow the developer or the builder to amortize that sales and use tax over 20 years.
Whoa, okay. In a budget crunch?
I looked at that and I was
Okay.
Where'd that come from?
Senator Rothfuss.
Yeah. Huh.
He was the only sponsor on it, so it was a lone sponsor. It did come out of one of the joint committees.
Well, I doubt if it goes anywhere, but boy, in a downturn, and the companies have expected, they know that figure. They know it's coming. So,
Well, and not to belabor the point too long, but yeah, if you amortize it and it's payable over 20 years, what's the guarantee that they don't go bankrupt 5 years into it? And then how do you
yeah.
collect?
Well, it's a very lengthy bill, and it addresses some of that, but still, it's, why?
well, WCCA will have
How you
their
gonna
hands
prove
full.
this in the county?
Okay, anything else? We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.